everyone. Welcome back to the Erin Coupe Podcast. Today, we're talking about a topic that is deeply embedded in our culture and professional world. It is comparison. We have all heard the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. But the reality is, it doesn't just steal our joy, it robs us of so much more. Our creativity, our productivity, our sense of self-worth, and our confidence all take a hit when we constantly measure ourselves against others. And if you're anything like me, you know this struggle isn't exactly a new one. It is woven into what I call the human condition. This is the strive for perfection and a sense of false contentment or satisfaction in life that we often think comes with achieving what others expect of us. Climbing the ladder at all costs, shoving people down or shoving people to the back to get ahead. These are things that have and are going on every single day in our current world. Think about things like social media. This stuff is pervasive. We all do this. We put our best moments or glory moments, as they're called, on social media and then hope that everyone sees them and that we're living up to the expectations that others have of us. Or is it that we're trying to show all of these wonderful things about the life that we're living because we see the wonderful things that others are putting out there and we want to show that we have that too? Achieving what we think we want because we compare ourselves to someone else often ends up leading to going after things for the wrong reasons. It makes me think of people I've known in the past who get married for the wrong reasons. They are just a certain age and in a certain relationship, and they think that they won't find someone else. So they want to take that next step, even if they're not 100% sure they want to spend their life with that person. Or people who have children to save their marriage. I've seen this all too often. Children don't save marriages, they make marriages more complicated. Let's be honest. And then there's people who manipulate and hurt others to get to the top, only to find out they actually don't want to lead at that level and it burns them out, let alone some of the strife and relationship issues that they experience along the way. So I'll start by saying that developing and sustaining self-worth isn't always easy. And often it's not something we're naturally gifted at. It has taken me years to arrive at the point where my self-worth is not dictated by my job title or my income or my material accomplishments. Do all of those things add to the person that I am? Do these things bring me joy and a sense of accomplishment? Absolutely, they do. But they don't have to be a definition of who I am. And they also don't need to be things where I compare myself to other people thinking I'm better than them or I'm worse off than them. It's okay for our job title, our income, our things that we own, the trips we take. It's okay for those to just be, and that's it. They don't have to be in comparison with. They don't have to be in spite of or in competition with. So instead, over time, as I started to unravel my own comparison game, I've shifted to focusing on the values that I uphold, the integrity I bring to my work and to my life, to my relationships as a whole. And most importantly, how I feel about me. That shift did not come overnight. And I know many of you are on that same journey. So let's unpack why comparison is so detrimental to our careers, relationships, and how we see ourselves. We live in a culture of constant comparison. Like I said, social media is easy to scroll through a feed of perfectly curated photos and stories and reels and suddenly feel inadequate. It's easy to look at all the things that people are doing and to think, I'm not doing enough. But here's the catch. What we see on these platforms is only a fraction of a person's life. It's often incomplete, highly edited, and not an accurate representation of reality. And yet we still hold ourselves to these unrealistic standards. I know in my own business for the last almost 5 years, there are a lot of things that I wanted to move the needle on. There were a lot of creative projects that I couldn't wait to get started, but either it just wasn't the right time, or it didn't feel authentic at the time, or I literally just didn't have the time. And so here I am in the last 6 months of my life, finally committing to projects that I've known for years I've wanted to do, and I've seen others do. I've seen others start podcasts. I've seen others write books, and I'm happy for them. Did I find myself at times comparing to them? Of course it was there. Of course there was a voice saying, Erin, isn't that what you want? Why aren't you doing it? That voice would put me down. So instead, what I chose to do is get real with myself, talk back to that voice and say, I realize I'm not doing these things yet. It's just not the right time for me. It doesn't feel aligned. And when it does, I'll go after it. In the meantime, I don't need to hold myself to some sort of unrealistic standard or create a list of goals that do not feel true to me. So this comparison scenario that I'm describing doesn't just apply to social media. It happens in our professional lives. I think back to my days in corporate America where people would share stories about their weekends or recent accomplishments or the latest and greatest workouts they were doing, only to be one-upped by someone else. It was, during the day, oh, I just went and did a soul cycle class. I crushed it. Or, I just bought this car. Or, my new girlfriend and I are going to the hottest restaurant this weekend. There was just constantly something that everyone wanted to share that showed how amazing they were and their life was so great. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to share these things that actually we are excited about. I think that's a huge part of relating to other people. But the constant cycle of comparison was about people trying to one up what someone had just shared. Comparison in the workplace, from my own experience, ultimately came down to competition. While it maybe started as comparison and showed up in a way where it was comparing yourself to somebody else around you. For example, I'll never have the kind of clients that person has. I'll never make the kind of money that person has. I'll never have that title or be an executive at this company. That kind of comparison was ultimately rooted in insecurity. And what it really did is instilled a culture of competition. People always competing against others. For those of you working in competitive fields, you know that comparison can breed a toxic work environment. When I worked on Wall Street, this comparison game was baked into the culture. The constant competition was about personal improvement, but it became a pressure to outperform and sometimes to manipulate situations to rise above others. This type of environment inflates egos. It damages authentic relationships and it leads to behaviors that might be rewarded in the short term, but in the long term drain you and those around you of authenticity and joy. If you are in a setting where comparison is encouraged, ask yourself, what's the cost? Is it making you a better person, a stronger contributor? Or is it taking you further away from who you truly are and what you value? From my own experience, and I've been there, striving to emulate others or compete constantly can leave you feeling unrecognizable to yourself. It most certainly will steal your authenticity and leave others feeling like you're not genuine when they interact with you. Another dangerous side of comparison is that it erodes your own sense of purpose. Constantly measuring yourself against others leads to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. as if you're never good enough or far enough along in whatever part of your life. And it keeps you from acknowledging your own unique path, your own unique achievements and goals. When we're busy comparing ourselves, we miss out on our full potential. The energy we could be investing in our dreams and ambitions is wasted by worrying about what everyone else is doing and what everyone else is thinking. This does not help you reach fulfillment. It only keeps you spinning in circles trying to live up to someone else's standards. So, how do we break free from the cycle of comparison? One way is to shift our perspective. Instead of seeing someone else's success as a benchmark that we need to meet or exceed to achieve happiness or success or fulfillment, instead view it as a source of inspiration. When you see someone who's achieved something you admire, use that as a reminder of what is possible for yourself, not as a reason to feel less than. Admiring someone else is not problematic. It's actually quite helpful. When you see someone else doing things that you feel in your heart you can do and you want to do, that is motivation to set higher standards for yourself and to set new goals and start to take actions towards those goals. No matter how small the actions are each day, they will compound over time. Remember that your journey is uniquely yours and your achievements will look different from anyone else's. They're supposed to. That's a good thing. Some practical ways to start to step out of the comparison trap and focus on your own growth and your own goals that have been transformative for me and may help you as well. Number one, journal your achievements each day. And I like to do this at the end of the day when I'm in bed and I have a journal next to my bed on the nightstand. Write down 3 things you accomplished that day. No matter how big or small, give yourself credit for at least 3 things that you did or move the needle on. They do not have to be huge wins. The small steps matter. And this practice is a powerful antidote to comparison because it's training you to recognize by looking for those small celebrations in your own progress. When you actively acknowledge your achievements, you start to see that your growth is just as valid and important as anyone else's. Number 2, practice gratitude. I know we hear about the benefits of gratitude often, but I want to emphasize how it directly combats comparison. Comparison stems from fear of not being enough, fear of missing out, fear of all the things. Gratitude, on the other hand, comes from love. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift away from a mindset of scarcity and move toward one of abundance. This is incredibly powerful in redirecting your thoughts and energy toward what truly matters in your life. And number 3, define your own goals and standards. Instead of looking to others to set the bar for you and your life, establish what success means for you. Take time to outline your personal and professional goals based on what you genuinely value and you want to achieve. Setting goals that are meaningful to you will keep you grounded, help you stay focused on your own path, and keep you from feeling pressured by someone else's journey. It's about building a life that you're proud of based on your own definition of fulfillment. So in essence, if you are out there living your truth, pursuing your goals and working hard, then you're already winning. The opinions, successes, and criticisms of others do not define you. Your value is determined by your actions, your thoughts, and your dedication to yourself. My challenge to you is to stop comparing. Turn that energy inward and pour it into creating your own path. Focus on your goals and cultivate your unique strengths to embrace the life that you're here to live. You will find so much more fulfillment by looking inward and giving yourself permission to be proud of who you are and the life that you're building. That's what we're all here for. And that's what we're all doing each and every day, building, creating, growing. I hope that these insights help you reflect on where comparison may be holding you back and inspire you to take actionable steps towards a more grounded, fulfilled life. Your journey is your own and it's worth investing in. If you want extra insights, I have a free worksheet on my website. Go to erincoupe.com/subscribe and get your free download today. Remember, the meaning you seek, the answers you yearn for, they often lie within. I encourage you to follow me at erincoupe.com or AuthenticallyEC on Instagram. Subscribe now so you don't miss a step of our journey together. Until next time, manifest great things.